Managing hybrid cloud solutions. I mean, how many in here are familiar with Red Hat at this stage of the game? You're going to learn a lot today. I mean, this is good for customers that have on-prem solutions for cloud, as well as public solutions for cloud. And this is an easy way for you to manage those environments in a very efficient, easy way.
If you see the value in the presentation, in the products, we can offer you a discovery workshop at no cost. So this will be something that Red Hat and Saturn will do for you.
I'm a specialist solutions architect with Red Hat. Ultimately, at its core, CloudForms is a hybrid cloud management tool. It's meant for managing on-prem and cloud providers. And we'll talk about what those are. But really, it's about managing the lifecycle and the whole process of all your VMs. If we had to boil it down, what CloudForms does for you, it's all around sort of optimization. So it's getting all of the data from your systems and putting it in a presentable way for you. Compliance and governance, so using that data that we collected to put governance rules and policies and management around it. If you can measure it, you can manage it. And then finally getting sort of service management. So when we look at things that are new, how do we go from blank slate to finished product? How do we get through that whole process? CloudForms is completely agentless. So this is kind of a unique differentiator in our space, is that we don't have agents that need to be running in certain places. And we'll talk a little bit later on how that works, but we communicate directly with the APIs of the providers we're working with. So there's not a lot that needs to go into that, but the main thing is you don't need to go around to every single server you have, install some magical client that shoots data back to it. Instead, we can just go and pluck the data out as we need it. Container management. So is anybody here looking into container technologies? Biggest one is Docker. I mean, that's just the 8-ton gorilla in the room. So we work with Docker. We're actually #2 contributor to the Docker project. Red Hat is. We have a full fleshed out container system that you can run just on top of RHEV, which is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. We also have another product that sits on top of it. It's called OpenShift. So when you build these containers, you want to make these containers mobile. You want to be able to put them onto different environments. You don't want to have to hand build, handcraft, and hand place each one of these containers. So we worked with, and we're #2 contributor for the project called Kubernetes. And Red Hat takes Docker and Kubernetes, and we add some development platform as a service type offerings on top of it. And then we have a product called OpenShift. Again, that's one of my other product specialties, so if you're interested, we can talk hours and hours and hours about it after this in the happy hour. We have Quota and Chargeback. So this works on-prem as well as in cloud, so you have the ability to assign chargeback rates to your system, and then you can charge back your internal business units, your customers, or even just different IT organizations or groups for consuming your resources. And we have a lot of different options for sort of managing that chargeback, but really it's all about, excuse me, giving you the ability to sort of take that information, again, perform more actions based on that data you get. We also have the capability of automated provisioning. I'll show you this in just a minute once we get into the demo. Automated provisioning basically allows us to take the notion of a service, and when I talk about service, we're not talking about just a VM, we're talking about the end product of what a VM looks like. So if we're talking about maybe a 4 or 5 stage application, where we have a web front end, we have a back end that's running our actual platform technology or framework, we might have sort of a load balancer, memory cache, and we might have a database. And so we can have all of those sort of conformed as a single service. We can turn this into an item in a catalog and let our users, through a self-service portal, order that and sort of provision this entire piece out at once. So it allows us as IT to kind of orchestrate a service and provide that service directly to our customers, and they don't need to know all the details on the back end. We have customer references. The biggest one we have is Cox Automotive. So if you ever looked at Kelley Blue Book, they're just a big conglomerate that owns like every car company's website ever for everything. So they're a big CloudForms user. It helped them sort of get IT under control. big problems where they had disparate environments and they wanted one single way to sort of manage all of that and to get services into production. We have the ability to retire systems. Retiring systems means that we basically have them shut down after a certain period of time. And some of the cases or where that might be important is if you have sort of a marketing event like this. So if we have a marketing event, our marketing people might want to advertise this marketing event for, say, 2 months. We might want to build a service to provision, say, a WordPress application. And this WordPress application is what our marketing department knows. They know what it is, it's a known quantity, they know how to work with it. So we've built this service for them, and this, as a marketing person, I can sign in and see what services I have. Now, these marketing events, we want them to retire after the event retires. So we can set retirement dates, and that means that when our admins get in, they don't need to waste their time coming and shutting down the VM after the event. We can have it automatically retire, and that frees up the resources back to our big resource pool. So it's just a couple quick questions I was able to fill out really quickly. We can make this really super detailed and complicated. So we could ask them how many CPUs they want, how much RAM they want, what's the name of their firstborn child, those types of questions. Or we can make it as simple as just literally a checkbox. We check the box, we hit order, it goes out and does what it's supposed to do. I'm talking about the powers of self-service and how awesome it is, but what happens when you get into self-service? Well, you lose some control. Not really in CloudForms, but the idea is that your customers or users or whatever you like to call them, they want to be able to manage their own resources. But as IT, if we allow people to manage their own resources, how do we maintain control of that? How do we know how we're going to grow? How do we manage all that information? So what we can do is we can actually put in different approval processes. So this is going to auto-approve in just a minute, but if I wanted to, I could add as many steps into the approval process as I want. Ansible is a company that we recently acquired. So we acquired them about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. And Ansible is it's a configuration and orchestration tool. So the idea is that everything you write, rather than, if you're familiar with Puppet, you have to write sort of a pseudo code or pseudo Ruby in order to execute on it. With Ansible Tower, everything's written in a markup language. So you write define everything in YAML, and then Ansible Tower reaches out and makes it so. So some of the other big differences is that Ansible is completely agentless, whereas Puppet and Chef require that you have an agent on your system and that you reach back to that. There is an integration point today with Ansible Tower, which is the management tool for managing that. In the next version that is coming out, that will be integrated into CloudForms as a piece of CloudForms. We do have a lot of Unix to Linux migrations. We also have like full consulting engagements that are just doing that, right? Like it's almost automatic and just being able to roll through and get that stuff going. So we've thought really long and hard about the types of reports that our customers are going to use. So you don't have to write and customize a lot of these things out of the box. It's one of the big differentiators from the Red Hat CloudForms perspective versus some of our competitors out there. We basically took the industry knowledge we had and we filtered it and put it into our reporting system. It's a way for us to organize the data. So if we have systems running on-prem and we have VMware systems, maybe we have a NetApp attached to that VMware system. And we want to be able to figure out what VMs are connected to that NetApp storage array. So in this, we could click on that NetApp, and it will show us all the VMs and all the physical hosts that that's connected to. So we can see it from that point of view. And that gives us the ability to say, all right, we need to migrate these 3 VMs off of that NetApp because we're going to put it in maintenance mode, run some firmware updates or some updates on it, and bring it back into the pool so we can reuse it. So it gives us the ability just to kind of see the data however we want to see it from the lifecycle perspective. There's a very large retailer, I'll say, I can't say too much more beyond that, who actually went and wrote a policy report, ran it against all their systems, and gave the report to their executives, their IT managed executives, and said, hey, we're not compliant to this, because we were able to go and quickly gather all that information, check it, run it. In this case, we're provisioning, every time we're provisioning a container, it's going to stop us if it fails the check. because we need to take care of that before we spin up another 100 microservices that have all the same vulnerabilities on it. If we're sitting there monitoring and we realize, oh, wait a minute, our one CPU system has been hitting 80% utilization for maybe 2 minutes, well, maybe we want to add another CPU. RHEV has the ability to add hot CPU and memory and storage to a system. So you don't need to shut the VM down to add all that information. Instead, we can have CloudForms look at that, do an automated action based on that, and then once the load dies down or starts getting back to, maybe we're at like 40% utilization for 5 minutes, well, maybe we'll take that CPU away. So that gives us the ability, in conjunction with some of the other Red Hat products, to really change and dynamically flow with the entire environment as we need to. We use subscriptions, so we don't have licensing models. Our subscriptions, there's 2 ways that you can purchase a subscription to CloudForms. Number 1 is by managed nodes, so dual socket servers. So if you have 5 ESXi servers that you're managing, you have 5 subscriptions to CloudForms that you purchase. Secondarily, if you're running out in the public cloud, you purchase them in a single subscription will give you up to 16 cloud instances.
You know, I appreciate everybody coming, and again, we're gonna, as I like to say, we're tied to the library, which is right down the hall over here. Go down before you exit the building. It's to the right. There's a room. We're gonna have some cocktails there. Matthew will be there.
Yep.
Saturn will be there. We'll have Chris and some other folks from Red Hat.
My name's Matthew Ward. I'm with Red Hat. I'm a specialist solutions architect that covers all of North America for our cloud and emerging technology portfolio. So today, we went through the value of Red Hat. We talked about the open hybrid cloud management tool, CloudForms, that allows us to manage our on-prem and public cloud virtualization, how we create policies, apply governance, create reports, and get all this information and make it actionable.
My name is George Pappas, Regional Sales Manager, Saturn Business Systems, and the purpose of today's event was wrapped around Red Hat CloudForms. The benefit of CloudForms for our customers is an easy way for them to manage their disparate environments when it comes to cloud. Whether they have on-prem cloud solutions, public cloud solutions, it's an easy way for our customers to manage their environment from a single pane of glass. At Saturn Business Systems, we are currently in the process of offering our customers free POCs on CloudForms. Today's event was a great event at the Raines Law Room here in New York City. Customers, it was very interactive, a lot of good questions coming out. I think there was a lot of interest that was generated, and look forward to working in conjunction with these customers on their next phase of their cloud environments.